Shalom. Yahweh Ba Shem Yahweh Brakatah to the brothers. Yahweh Shemar Alatah Ba Shem Yahweh to the sisters. I'm priest and officer of 500 Yaquatazah under Commander Jenny Hanna, representing the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, which was established since 1969 out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. And our duty is to teach the Negroes, Latinos, and First Nation people their culture, their identity, and how to serve the Most High in proper understanding according to the Bible. And Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians are the Lord's chosen people. That is our duty, and it is our job to fulfill that in order for our King Christ, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, return back to the earth so we could be back on top again, back in rulership though. So when it speaks about Gentiles and strangers in the Bible, we got to understand there's context to words and a lot of different meanings though, because just because a word mean one thing doesn't mean it's the same thing according to context. How do we know that though? How did I find out though? Let's make it clear though. When I went to high school, I did reading assignments and writing assignments and book assignments, and you understand that that words have more than one definition depending on context when you read an actual book, because an actual book has more than 100 pages, and it has stories and paragraphs and examples for understanding, when it's read in proper context and understand the right way. So also, especially college though, when students go for their associate's degree, bachelor's degree, master's, PhD, they do a lot of book assignments and writing assignments, and they understand that a lot of different words have more than one meaning according to context. So the problem with that is though, when it comes to the Bible though, Christianity think that there's only one understanding, like they read the Bible like a comic book, or a manga, which doesn't make sense at all though. Well, first and foremost though, the Holy Bible is the book for Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, and according to the context and how it's read and how it's said though, Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians can only understand the context of the Bible when they learn from a man of God under commanding Jeniana, right? And it's extremely important, and it's very interesting. Well, interesting as well too, though, because there's a lot of things and words and paraphrases that another nation, like white people or Arabs, if they look at the Bible, they may not understand it though. Number one, because they don't understand how Black people and Latino people talk, how we speak though. We use a lot of ebonics and metaphors, and even in general though, I want to sidebar real quick though. When Black people and Latino people is talking and having social conversations though, we use a lot of metaphors and ebonics. Everything is not literal. We understand in our talkings and conversations and our letters and books though, what's metaphorical and what's literal and what's spiritual, even what's spiritual though. But I'm gonna bring out this first though, before I go into the topic of Gentiles and strangers, also Israelites though. We got what we call the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. We go learn something today. Though we go learn what the word Gentile means, and we go also learn what the word stranger means. Right. So let's bring that out. First, we'll start with the word Gentile. Right. And page 195, the word Gentiles usually means a non-Israelite people. So on the page 195 in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, it says for Gentiles usually means a non-Israelite people, right? Usually. We got to understand the key word. It said usually. So that means normally we will consider a Gentile of a heathen of another race, though, like white people are Gentiles, African people are Gentiles, Arabs are Gentiles, Asians are Gentiles, East Indians are Gentiles. Samoans and Hawaiians are Gentiles because those are Japhetic people, though. But the whole big idea is that when it's saying for the definition of Gentiles, it's saying usually. So that means normally it will be non-Israelite people, though. So that means that otherwise, according to the context of a paragraph or a story, though, if it brings up the word Gentile, it could be also talking about a Black, Latino, or Native American brother and sister, right? So let's go to stranger, the definition of stranger in the Compact Bible Dictionary, right? What does the word stranger means? Where we at on page 568 in the Bible Compact Dictionary? The word stranger means foreigner who put himself under protection of Israel and Israel's God, who submitted to many requirements of the law of Israel and who was therefore given certain privileges. Right. So here's the thing, though. Like, what is referring to a foreigner, though? So let's say, for example, black we're in America right now. Though. America is not our homeland. Like Blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians are in North Central South America and the Caribbean islands. This is not our actual homeland. But because we are not in our homeland, we will be considered strangers. For example, it because we did not follow the Most High. We're not as a whole. We're not following the actual customs of the Most High. So that's why we got put out of Israel. I'll make another example. The Northern Kingdom, the Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, and Native American Indians, and the other Latino tribes got put out of Israel because they decided to serve other gods and different deities. So they got put into the Americas first, though. So that would make them considered strangers. Not every Latino and Native American Indian got put out though, but like the majority, like the bulk. Just like even even in the in Israel, not every Negro or Haitian or Jamaican was there though. You have remnants of Latinos and Native American Indians there though. Um, okay, I'm from up north though, so if I go down south though, the brothers and sisters will look at me as a stranger because um, the way how I conduct myself, it could be my accent, it could be the way how I carry myself, the way I dress, you know, things of that nature. So I would be a stranger in the West Coast or in the Midwest or in the down south area. I would be a stranger to them. Even sometimes, like in New York City, I could be a stranger to the New Yorkers in New York City though, because New York City and New York State is kind of similar though, but at the same time we have differences. So that's what the term stranger would be though. We would be a foreigner. I would be a foreigner. Me going from Buffalo to Georgia, I would be a foreigner down in Georgia. I would be a foreigner in Texas. I would be a foreigner in California. I would be a foreigner in North Carolina. I would be a foreigner in Illinois. That's just making examples of what a stranger is. So Israelites, our people can be strangers though, because we would be uh, the Lord's chosen people though, but living a different culture um, under a different society. But we're going to that later on though, because depending on the context of the topic, sometimes our people, the Gentile or stranger, could be referred to our people. Sometimes it could be referring to the actual heathens or the other nations. So that's something important to know. So let's move on with it though. Let's go to James chapter 1, verse 1. This is the book of James, chapter 1, verse 1. James, a servant of the Most High, and the, the Lord Yahweh Mashiach to the 12 tribes, right? So, first and foremost, though, when it's saying James, a servant of the Most High, though, like, how do we know that James is a servant of the Most High? Because first and foremost, blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians are the only uh, nation of people who could keep the laws perfectly. So that's how we know that James is an Israelite and James being a servant of the Most High, right? Like blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians are the only people who can keep the laws perfectly and serve the Most High in its proper manner. That's how we know. That's how we know James is an Israelite for sure. He's serving the Most High and Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach to the 12 tribes, right? Because he's part of the 12 tribes, right? Which scatter abroad, greeting. See, James is not in Jerusalem right now. He's not in Jerusalem, so he's scattered abroad in a foreign country though. But he's an Israelite though, just in a foreign country though. But and at the same time, he's a servant of the Most High. How do we know that though? Because in order to be a servant of the Most High or a servant of God, you are obedient. That means you are keeping the law, statutes, commandments. You are following the customs of the Most High, following the Lord's feast days and high holy days. That's how we know for sure. Verse 2, my brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations. Right. And to understand this though, like um just like every black, Latino, Native American Indian though, like especially when we serve the Most High in proper status, especially when we get into the truth under command of Jenny Haddo, we're gonna fall into diverse temptations. Like the Most High is gonna test us in every level. Like the scriptures say in the Apocrypha Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 1, when a black, Latino, Native American Indian learns the truth and learns to serve the Lord in proper understanding on the command of Janihana, it says to prepare thy soul for temptation. When we come serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. So the Lord is gonna test us at every level to see where we at spiritually, to see if we are upright, to see if we are really worthy of serving the Most High and to receive proper salvation from Christ. Right. So let's move on. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 28, verse 1. One thing about when we serve the Most High, our job is to wake up blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians throughout the earth, though, because right now every all of our people that's outside of the ISUBK though will be considered strangers though, whether they're learning the truth or they're not in the truth. Why is that important though? Because if you are in the proper government, which is the ISUBK, we know you. We know what you are capable of. We understand accountability though. But if you a brother or sister that's not in the ISUBK, whether you learning the ISUBK or not though, you will be considered a stranger because we don't know you. We don't know what you're capable of doing. We don't know what are your intentions. See, the men above me and below me and the sisters know that my intentions are to follow orders from the men above me under command of Janihana. They know that my intentions is to teach blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians this truth of the Bible. Teach the classes, do public camp speaking, teach inside the prisons and the juvenile detentions and the holding centers, and to do the work of the Lord, like doing food and clothing donations, like doing anything to raise up our nations. So that's how, like, for example, the ISUBK knows me though, but anybody that's not in the ISUBK, whether you're learning from the internet or you're not learning from us though, you would be considered a stranger. And that's something important to know. Accountability is everything. right? So I said Isaiah chapter 28, verse 11, right? We're gonna bring that out. This matter of fact, right, here we go. Isaiah chapter 28, verse 11. For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people. So here's the kicker though. Prophet Isaiah had to speak it into a language for his people to understand. Because, for example, we at the ISUBK we study and teach Hebrew, right? However, the brothers and sisters outside the ISUBK don't know Hebrew. They don't teach it though. So we had to. And the poor thing is though, we had to speak Hebrew when we say the Lord's prayers in order for the Most High to acknowledge us. We have that is mandatory. In order for the Most High to acknowledge our prayers, that we have to speak it in Hebrew, then translate it in English for brothers and sisters to understand, because our identity and language was taken from us since our forefathers disobeyed the Most High. Now, also in the Southern Kingdom, Negroes, so-called African Americans, speak English. Native American Indians and Seminole Indians speak English, right? Haitians speak Creole and broken French. The Latinos, the Puerto Ricans, going all the way down to the Mexicans speak Espanol, and there's different slangs in terms of Espanol. Mexican Spanish is actually different from Puerto Rican Spanish, and Dominican Spanish, and Cuban Spanish. Facts, right? It's still Spanish though, but it has a little bit of difference though. The wording and the slangs are different. You know, because that thing, Dominicans like use more slang than any Latino tribe. They use the most slang when they speak Spanish. We know Puerto Ricans use a lot of slang, right? And that's actually spiritual to understand too, even for our people though. So we have Latino according to this precept though, far as like Isaiah chapter 28 verse 11 though, we have Latino brothers, Latino captains, and Latino officers that can speak Espanol for our brothers and sisters who can only understand Espanol. We have the mighty Officer Yatzar, and we have the mighty Officer Shiratazar, and any other Haitian brother that speak Creole and French and can break it down, and our brothers and sisters that speak Creole and French. Though we also got Officer 1000 Adiar from Montreal, and we also got Officer 500 Barakia Allah from Montreal that speak Creole and French, if French though, to translate it for our Haitian brothers and sisters to get the proper understanding when we teach our people this truth. And that's good, because even though our identity and language took it away though, but the Lord still bless us how to deal with our people so we can bring this truth though. And right. Let's that's sort of that. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 2, verse 11. The same thing that Isaiah was doing as far as with the stammering lips is during the times of old, because we had a lot of our people who need to be who had to get it broken down for proper understanding in a different language. Would be the same thing for us today in America, because even back during the time of Isaiah, though, all of our people didn't the, all of our people probably didn't more than likely didn't understand Hebrew or speak it though, because we were scattered in different a lot of us were scattered in different countries, learning the customs and the traditions of another nation that's ruling and conquered that country, like Rome and Greece, and and Italy, or any other for a place that's outside Jerusalem. Hey, you got hair, bro? What's going on, brother? Ephesians chapter 2, verse 11. The first precept was James chapter 1, verse 1. But you go to Ephesians chapter 2, verse 11. Let me know when you got it. All right, this is the book of Ephesians, chapter 2, verse 11. Wherefore remember that ye, being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called circumcision by that. So in this context, though, the Lord was saying that we were Gentiles in the flesh, though, because we weren't physically circumcised. That during the 8th day, when you were circumcised, that was a custom, a Israelite tradition. A male child on the 8th day was receiving circumcision. That's the physical way. But we go break it down of another way of being circumcised according to the Lord's understanding, by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands, right? Because traditionally in the Old Testament, though, as far as like a male, though, on the 8th day after he's born, though, he was circumcised. His foreskin was cut off, circumcised physically. That's the physical way. And then that was during the times of old, though, right? Verse 12, that at that time ye were without Christ, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel, right? Because aliens, we would be like outcasts, we would be strangers, we would be like Gentiles, like outside of Israel, of the brothers and sisters who were following the customs, and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without the Most High in the world. But, verse 13, but now in Christ, Yahushua, ye who sometimes were far off are made nigh by the blood of Hamashiach. So, because of Christ's time, like now we dealing with the Melchizedek time. We dealing with Christ, though. The old times you had to physically get circumcised by the 8th day, a boy, like a male child, or his foreskin had to be cut off, the circumcision. That was the physically, though. But now during the time of Christ, which is spiritual, though, Christ teaching us a more efficient way. And then Paul and anybody else, so Paul and any other leaders of our people are teaching us a more efficient way and better way, a spiritual way, according to the Lord, though. When we are circumcised, it's the changing of our mind. Spiritual, that's spiritual. It's the thought process. Everything that we did worldly, as far as like smoking cigarettes, smoking weed, unlawful being a sexual deviant, you know what I'm saying, doing any unlawful sexual activities, if it's unlawful, right? Breaking the Lord's commandments, eating unlawful foods, you know what I'm saying, being unbrotherly to your brothers and sisters, do anything unrighteous that's according to the Lord's understanding, though, or not keeping any of the high holy days and feast days, right.
Changing our lives, be circumcised.
Right, the thought process, the change of your mind. You'll be saying that you know I said also referred as spiritual baptism, though, but which is the same thing, though. But this part, though, is we're just speaking about our brothers and sisters being Gentiles or strangers that's having a heathen state of mind. Like for example, the majority of our people is following the way of America, or in the majority, a lot of our people are still following the philosophy of Christianity, going to church on Sundays, following what listen to the pastor said that the law is done away with, and what is not true. Joining other religious groups outside the Bible. I'm saying? All of that is the philosophy of Christianity, and all of that falls with being a Gentile state of mind, being a stranger, outside the culture of the Israelites. So now in this context, the Lord is giving us understanding, and also any of the man of God like Paul and Peter and all of them, is giving our people the understanding that the brothers and sisters that's living a Gentile state of mind or being a sojourner or a stranger, though, it's our job to teach our people the truth out the Bible and learn the ways of the Lord and become upright, be upright in the spirit. So that's what this context is speaking about, right? That was the whole purpose of why Christ came to existence on the earth during the Roman Empire, and why Christ had to die on that cross is to give us another chance, and for us to learn a valuable lesson and what is expected of what we're supposed to do in order for Christ to come redeem us. Verse 14, for here is our peace, who hath made both one and have broken down the middle wall of partition between us, though. Verse 15, having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of the commandments contained in ordinances, for to make in himself of twain one new man, so making peace, though, right? Because as long as our like a lot of our brothers and sisters that's in foreign countries that's living different lifestyles outside the Bible and following different customs and philosophies, though, they will be sojourners and Gentiles and strangers. And the brothers and sisters like us, though, that's woke in this truth, though, and under a man of God, which is Commander Jenny Hanna, though, it would be our job to go out and through these streets and through these neighborhoods and throughout the earth to bring this truth out to our brothers and sisters, teach this through the social media platforms and all that too. It's our job to do that, to get our people right with the Most High. That's our job. That's our duty. So like it's like we can't. It's not their fault, though, because we got to remember we weren't in this truth, though. When we were born, though, we was born into the ways of being a Gentile, celebrating Christmas, celebrating Easter, celebrating your birthday, celebrating Thanksgiving, following all the philosophies of Christianity or America, right? So we thank the Lord that the Lord woke us up and put us with the right men to be led under, which would be Commanding General Hunter and ISUBK. And it's our job and duty to fulfill what he wants to do, wake up all our people up, whether they want to receive the truth or not. It's the Lord's, at the end of the day, it's the Lord's decision if he wants to bring the brother or sister into the truth, into the fold. Because a lot of us can hear it, though, but if the Lord really didn't call him, the Lord didn't call him. So let's go to Hosea chapter 1, verse 10. And it always say like that, like a lot of us always like is real grateful and thankful that the Most High woke us up, though, because like my like for example my former life, though, before I came to the truth, though, was out of order, man. It was disgusting. You know what I'm saying? It was despicable. My former life, though. I definitely wasn't always like this, though. I've been this truth for like what, about 5 years now. So I thank the Most High, and I'm willing to continue and endure to the very end, to wake up my people or die trying. Hosea chapter 1, verse 10. Mm-hmm. You got it? All right. This is the book of Hosea chapter 1, verse 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place that it was said unto them, ye are not my people. Right. See, like we are in this context though, like it's gonna be a time when our people is gonna be in great numbers. That's it's happening today, right now. And it's gonna happen more effectively when Christ established the new kingdom of heaven, when blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians are gonna be in great numbers, because we're gonna be fruitful and multiplying and procreating a lot though. And at the same time, especially during the time when Christ ruled though, we're gonna be upright. We're gonna be walking in the spirit of the most high. You know. Now in this other part of the paragraph though, is in this precept is saying, ye are not my people. So let's understand why is the Lord said that ye are not my people, according to the prophet Hosea. There it shall be said to them, ye are the sons of the living God. Right. Hosea is saying this though because at in the times of old and even today though, like a lot of our people are not following the ways of the Most High. They're not getting into this Bible and learning from the men who's authorized to teach this Bible, which would be the ISUBK. You know, that's why I was saying before though, like even for brothers and sisters that's learning the truth though, that's not in the ISUBK. That's good. That's a head start. Do that. Continue to do that. You know, I said it's a choice whether you want to get up to ISUBK or not though, but we got to understand though, like anybody outside of our organization, though, we would consider these brothers and sisters strangers. We don't know you. We don't. I always say this before though. Accountability is everything. Accountability, because again, you got fake Israelite groups that's doing things that you should not be doing. We've been saying this a lot, plenty of times before though. Them fake groups is doing things that's ungodly, that the Lord's against them. And this is why we say in the ISUBK that we are not affiliated with no other Israelite group, and we are not affiliated with any or other organization. If it's not under commanding Jenny Hanna, then it's not of the Lord. We say that because accountability is extremely important. Like I had to check myself every single day, make sure I'm in the right spirit, make sure I'm not going on. And I got men above me and men below me that's gonna watch my back and make sure I'm not going off. You see me going off, I said you could check me, let me know. Yeah, that's brotherhood. That's brotherhood. That's brotherhood. And Jose was saying that we're not the people though, because we're bigger to serving other gods, and we're bigger to living how we want to live and not do what the Lord says. And ye are sons of the living God, right? Blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians, we're the sons of the living God. We the sons of the God of Israel, the sons and daughters of the God of the Most High. I said the one true living God, and His name is Yahweh.
The downtown Central Library will be closing in 45 minutes. If you need a library card or other assistance, please see a staff member. Thank you.
Where it says that in the place where it was said unto them, is that talking about America?
Where at?
It's in 10.
Right. It says, yet the number of children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea. What you said, which cannot be measured nor numbered.
And it shall come to pass.
But this talk like this like this context, this talk about in the past though, right? And then also depending on context, it could be referred to like today, because because now, right, it could be referring today to as well, though, too, though, because even though we at a low state right now, though, but we're still coming into not in numbers. You know what I'm saying? That's of the Lord. We're still coming in numbers, though. Blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians procreate like it ain't nothing. You know, the bulk of us is in North America, South America, Central America, and the Caribbean islands. The bulk of us, but remnants of us are in Africa, Vietnam, Europe, Russia, Japan, Pakistan, the state of Israel. You know what I'm saying? All in the Middle East, though, remnants of us, though, because you got to remember, though, we were scattered in all four corners of the earth, though, but the bulk of us is here in the Americas, right? So this also could be this could also be future prophecy too, though, because regardless, the Most High is going to raise up His nation. The Most High is going to raise up the nation of Israel. You know what I'm saying? We are the sons of God, the sons of the living true God, right? For sure. Verse 11, then shall the children of Judah. So Judah would be the southern kingdom. It would be the so-called Negroes or the so-called African Americans, and the Haitians and the West Indians, Jamaicans and Trinidadians and Bahamas, right? And the children of Israel, that would be the 10 tribes, though, which would be the Puerto Ricans, the Mexicans, the North American Indians, the Seminole Indians, the Guatemalans, the Hondurans, Nicaraguans, you know, Venezuelans, right? That would be all of the northern kingdom, which is Israel, be gathered together and appoint themselves one head. Because in the time of Hosea, though, there was a split. The Most High splitted us, separated us, though, because the northern kingdom was going off, but it was the first to start going off. It was serving other gods and they was the first to start being more like Gentile state of mind, being strangers. They were like, and at that time, the northern kingdom were being the majority of the northern kingdom were being sojourners and strangers. Well, I want to say every last Latino or Native American Indian, though, but the majority, the bulk, the wide mass, you know, and in the near future, though, the Lord is gathering together Blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians. Even today, right? Okay, in the ghettos and barrios and reservations, slums and hoods, though, we're tightly together, though. But us having that Gentile state of mind, we don't know that. We don't understand it because we believe in the philosophies of being American. We believe that everybody's equal. You know, we believe that all the rights that the white man get, though, that we get. No, we don't. But yet, here's the kicker, though. Other nations that's coming from overseas that the white man just was going back and forth the world with, though, like the Arabs in Iraq and Afghanistan, and even they had issues with the East Indians and the Asians and the Africans, though. Those other nations come over here and get all the great benefits that Blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians are supposed to be getting, though. And the reason why we're at a low state still, though, because even today we're living a Gentile. We're not following the ways of the Lord, though. The scriptures say in Ecclesiastes 7:7, oppression makes a wise man mad, but the gift destroyeth the heart. Though we destroy the heart, which is the mind. We're too, as a nation, we too focused of wanting to receive all the goody benefits from our oppressor and not want to hearken to the Most High's understanding, not want to get under commanding Jenny, which is the current leader of Blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians, till Christ can redeem us. We still yet not trying to do that, though. Even though today, in this context, a lot of our brothers and sisters are starting to gather up together. You know, are gathered together, like Zephaniah chapter 2 verse 1 says, right? You know, even our ignorance, though, like Blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians are starting to unite, though, in different areas like Chicago, New York, Cali, Texas, Florida, you know, Bama, Georgia, even down in the Caribbean and South America, Blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians, and their ignorance are starting to join together, though. But they're still strangers if they are not, if their spirit is not upright with the Most High. Because we can still do a lot of things that's righteous in our ignorance, though. But in order for us to be upright, we got to be in the proper leadership and be not only just keep the commandments and obeying the Most High though, but we got to be in the proper leadership though, because when you are in the proper leadership though, you'll understand to do the work of the Lord in its proper manner. And what else? We will understand that when it's time to observe the the feast days and the other ceremonial days, of course, the Lord, though, we will be attending them and partaking in them. You know, in this time, though, for the most part, though, we're supposed to attend on wherever Commander Jenny Hanna put it at, though. But depending on certain circumstances, sometimes a lot of us or some of us may have to watch it online with the computer error. You know, but following Commander Jenny Hanna, actually being up under Commander Jenny Hanna would be the most righteous thing for right now, because we're not strangers. You know what I'm saying? You're not right. You see. Let's go to Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. It's a good precept for us to understand too. Whenever you got Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. Because this is what our people need to understand, so we can isolate our spirit from the philosophy of Christianity in America, and come into the ways of the Most High according to the Bible. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. We go out in the byways and highways and teach blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians the truth, though, and they get offended when we say that the white man or the oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of, which when the word devil only means deceiver, they get offended because they're spiritually drunk off the philosophies of America and Christianity. So that proves my point of a lot of our people being strangers, Gentiles, and sojourners. You know what I'm saying? But yet they claim they love God and they love Jesus, and they claim they say that God know their heart and all that stuff. No, he don't. No, in the hell he don't know you. He don't know you. He don't know you. He don't know you, because number one, when we bring out the truth, when we do camp speakings or even class teachers, when we bring out the truth though, and we say that the white man's the devil the Bible speaks of because of the crimes and atrocities that he did to the Lord's chosen people, which is blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians, and the crimes and atrocities he's did throughout the earth. And we see what's going on in these news medias though. A lot of our people get offended and they saying that no, that's not true. God loves everybody. Oh no, not my pastor. He ain't said, hey, my pastor doing that. And no, yes, it is your pastor. It's every pastor though, as long as they're following the philosophy of Christianity and they're not really walking in the ways of the Most High, and they're not under the proper leadership, which is commanding Jenny Han and ISUBK. Because not one pastor is keeping any feast day according to the Bible, or ceremonial day according to the Bible, like the Day of Atonement, like the day of Purim, like Passover. Passover is going to be Houston. Every black, Latino, Native American Indian is supposed to be what should be in Houston under Commander Jenny Hanna, celebrating the Lord's 57th annual Passover. That's a commandment, So I mean, you can't don't sit there and say that I said God know you and Jesus in my heart. Don't you ain't doing none of that. No, you destroy it. You doing according to what Hosea chapter 4 verse 6 said. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because when and I'm gonna read why, because thou has rejected knowledge. When the men in the ISUBK do camp speaking and do class teachings, and when we go out in these different events and partake in these different activities that we do with our people though, we teach our people the truth though, our people think they know every damn thing, and they don't. When that's not true. Okay, if you know everything though, so why ain't you keeping and observing the Feast of Purim? You since you know everything about the Most High. Why are you still celebrating Christmas and your birthday since you know the Most High? Why are you still following the philosophy of Christianity since since you say if you claim you know the Most High? Why you don't admit and say that the oppressor or the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of, which is true if you say you know the Most High? Because I'm gonna tell you this though, the Lord's it's not with them. The God says the oppressor, the devil, the Bible speaks. We didn't say that. It says in the Bible, and it's proof though, because historically speaking, the things that they have did ever since they've been ruling. So you can't sit here and tell us that what we say out the Bible in proper context is not true, right? You got anything you want to add though, brother?
No, sir.
Okay, definitely, man. Right. So again, according to Hosea chapter 4, verse 6, though, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Why are we destroyed for lack of knowledge though? Because again, we walk around here and claim we know the Most High and we love Jesus and the Most High is in my heart and Jesus in my blood, but you're not doing anything according to what the Bible says that the Lord has put out for us. You're not doing anything that Christ brought out when he was walking the face of the earth, though. You don't you hate your own brothers and sisters that's in the gutters and ghettos and barrios. You screw face each other. You gossip towards one another. You talk badly and bring down towards one another, though. You're not saying the whole crowds of the barrel, though. You're not saying this is speaking on even for a lot of our brothers and sisters that's celebrities or athletes or entertainers, though. You're not saying because you got the money, though, but you're not really seeking to raise your people up that you've been in the ghettos and hoods, and though. Stop them from being drug dealers, stop them from gang banging, stop them from being prostitutes, stop them from being whores, stop them from all types of negative afflictions. But yet you got all that damn money. But again, you're living a Gentile state of mind. You're a sojourner. You're a stranger. Even though by flesh and blood you are the Lord's chosen people, though, but your thought process, the way you conduct yourself, your spirit, your vibe, you carry yourself as a stranger, a sojourner. You're not in the truth. You're not walking the breath of life, right? So this is what the Most High it got to say according to what Hosea is saying. I will also reject thee. The Most High said, according to what Hosea said, I will also reject thee. That's why we are the most in the prisons. That's why we are the highest in all manners of diseases, high blood pressure, glaucoma, or herpes, or AIDS, or monkeypox, or Ebola disease, or what's that joint called? High cholesterol. I said, like eating unclean foods and having unlawful sex. You know what I'm saying? And do all manner of wickedness, doing drugs and sticking needles and smoking reefer and cigarettes, though. That causes lung disease. You know what I'm saying? Your ass can't smoke. Sidebar, Salakia. I'm gonna say it like that, though. It's unlawful. You can't smoke. So the Lord's against that, right? So as long as we continue to want to be Gentiles and be strangers and disobey the Most High will reject us. But the brothers and sisters that's keeping the law, statutes, commandments, and especially if they are under commanding Jenny Hanado, we ain't got to worry about nothing. The Lord's gonna protect us. The angels go protect us, though, because again, as the Lord watches and observes everything on the earth, though, him being omnipresent, the angels are messengers that travel through or from the earth and through space, observing and writing, reporting everything to the Most High. So at the end of the day, somebody's always watching. So I pray we understand that, though. I will also reject thee, and thou shalt be no priest to me. Right? If you can't be a priest to the Most High, you can't Right. You cannot serve the Most High in proper understanding if you are being a Gentile or living a heathen state of mind, if you're being a stranger or a sojourner. So this is referred to our people, though, because the topic refers to Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, where Israelites can be Gentiles or strangers. And through these precepts, though, it's according to context. In these contexts, it's referring to our people. It's not referring right now. It's not referring to the heathens or no other nation. It's referring to our people right now that decides to live how they want to live or live another culture outside the Lord's culture, which is the Bible, which is the culture of niggas and the Blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians. Any more than that, you will not be a priest to me, seeing that has forgotten the law of thy God. Right. We've forgotten the laws of the Most High. So we forget the laws of the Most High out of this Bible, though, we start living like sojourners or strangers or having a Gentile state of mind. You know, we live like a Roman. We live like the Italians. We live like the Germans. We live like the Japanese. We live like the Chinese. You know what I'm saying? We want to put on a kimono or some damn shit like that, or we want to put on a ninja jumpsuit, though. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with doing ninja training and karate training, though. But if you follow the philosophies and the customs of the Japanese, which is Confucianism, or follow the way of the Chinese, which is Buddhism, though, then you are a heathen. You are a Gentile. You are you have a stranger state of mind. So that's what Hosea is talking about. You know, we just gotta take caution on how we conduct ourselves in this earth. Because right now, as we see it today, the majority of our people, though, especially the celebrities, are living in an American state of mind. You know what I mean? They got the fame, they got the talent, they got the money, though, but they're sojourners, though. They're not following the customs of the Most High. So when was the last time any great actual entertainer or celebrity actually came to the Lord's Passover under command of Jenny? When? I'm here to like out of my years of being the truth. I don't know. I don't know no knowledge of that, though. You know, we ain't knocking our brothers and sisters, though, but my point is, though, it's the time for Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians to come out that Gentile and stranger sojourner state of mind. And it's time to follow the ways of the Most High out this Bible. And the ISUBK has schools out the earth. We are One West ISUBK worldwide. You can Google up the ISUBK, any number like ISUBK Honduras, ISUBK Puerto Rico, you know what I'm saying, ISUBK Mexico, ISUBK France, ISUBK UK, my mighty UK brothers, Captain Karathia, and my brother Officer 5000 Hazahad, originally from the UK, but from hold down Brooklyn, you know, and I'm bringing out these points, though, because at this time it's not difficult to call any one of us, though, if you need guidance and help, though. And I'm saying this, though, because we still got way too many of our brothers and sisters living like strangers, living like heathens, living a Gentile state of mind. And this is the big point of what Hosea is bringing out. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6, right? We've forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children. So now the Most High forgot us, though. That's how we end up going in the transatlantic slave trade. That was prophesied. That was said that was about to happen because we didn't want to follow Moses. We the biggest incarcerated in prison because we want to disobey the Most High. You know what I'm saying? We want to celebrate Christmas and birthdays and stupid things and stinking Valentine's Day. ISIS terrorizing our Mexican brothers and our Latino brothers and sisters. Because, again, even though the white man being the devil, the Bible speaks of, though, but we still, as a nation, want to disobey the Most High and not follow what's according to this Bible and not want to get under command in Jenny, which is the true priest and prophet of the Lord. That's why. Verse 7, as they were increased, so they sinned against me. Right. That's bad. That sound like bad news right there. Right. As we increase, though, you know, say a lot of us could still today still live in sin, still want to celebrate 4th of July, still want to celebrate Mother's Day, Father's Day, still want to start their own Israelite group. No, that's against the Lord. You can't start your own Israelite group. I mean, you can study the ISUBK though, but to start your own Israelite group, the Lord is against that. There's only one faith, one baptism, one body, according to Ephesians chapter 4, verse 4 and 5, 3, 4, and 5. One faith, one baptism, one body. You know, that's in the New Testament. You know, you can't get around with that. Right. Brothers and sisters that's learning, that's good though. But at some point though, it's gonna be some time to like do according to Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1, so that you don't become a stranger or a sojourner or a Gentile. You know, it's good that you learn it, but at some point though, you got to do what the scriptures say. Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1, gather each other, nation, old nation, not desire. It's talking to you, blacks, Latinos, American Indians. It ain't talking about nobody else. You know, because clearly we see that the Koreans and the Arabs and the Chinese and the East Indians know exactly what they're doing. They're gathered together, or they should not desire. That's how they're able to conduct themselves in government and the military and have businesses and all other stuff. Though that's what we gotta do in order for us to become great again. You know, and what I'm breaking out is extremely heavy. You know, you know what I'm saying, we don't have a lot of time. You know, we see what's going on every day. You know. We like blacks, children, Africans. We got time. Okay, we got time, but we ain't got a lot of time. We ain't got a lot of time. You know, we can't afford to be lollygagging and acting silly 24/7, especially if you're a male, adult, black, Latino, Native American, Indian man. You better cut that out, acting silly 24/7 all day, every day. No, stop doing that. Where we at? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1. We still jump at Isaiah chapter 14. Next class, we'll do a part 2 of this too. We'll do a part 2 of this. Gentiles, right? Part 2. Next class. I said Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1, right? Yep. You got it. Just the book of Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1. The word of the Lord, right? With this, the instructions of the Most High, right? That came to Jeremiah, right? Right. It's speaking about what prophet Jeremiah is saying, right? Concerning the dearth. Verse 2, Judah mourneth, right? So according to Jeremiah, Judah mourneth, right? So it could be speaking about the Southern Kingdom, or the Negroes, Haitians, and West Indians, right? We mourn. Why are we mourning? In the Gates language, Gates thereof language. So out in the ghettos and gutters, right, in the streets, though, our people are mourning. You know what I'm saying? We miserable. We lament though. We cry. We, you know what I'm saying? We suffering. You know what I'm saying? We're in mourning though too, right? Why we are mourning though? Because of our lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? The gang banging, the drug dealing. You know what I'm saying? The crack dope houses. The inhabitable place, the environment of where we put though, as far as like in the projects and the streets and the low poverty levels of the neighborhoods, you know, that we're in. And why is it saying that the gates are language though? Because a gate is something that's supposed to protect the community or neighborhood, right? And the people that's supposed to protect the communities, the projects, and the neighborhoods will be your Christian pastors or your political Black and Latino leaders, or even entertainers though too, because they claim to be leaders though, but they're not though. Because if anything was to happen in a Black Latino neighborhood though, when it's conflict, so it don't gets to a drive-by shooting or a beef or any type of terrible altercation, whatever though, the gatekeepers are supposed to be your Christian pastor. We're supposed to stop that from happening. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to stop crooked cops from intervening in our neighborhoods and trying to terrorize our people. We're supposed to stop any sorts of trouble or any type of negative situations that comes towards our people though. But no, your Christian pastors don't do that. So they're not fit for the job. Yo, celebrity entertainers and actors and athletes claim they're leaders though, but they're not fit for the job because they're not protecting the brothers and sisters that's in these neighborhoods being oppressed and having conflict and street wars and turf wars towards each other, which the Lord is absolutely against. The way it's supposed to be gang banging towards one another or none of that, and selling drugs towards each other or negative things of that nature. That's not supposed to happen. That's why the gates are languished though. They're weak because the people that claim to be leaders are not doing their job though. So your political Black and Latino leaders though in political offices, they're not, whether they Democrat or Republican or any political type of leadership they're in though, like the mayor or anything, they're not doing anything to protect the ghettos and gutters. Your Christian pastors or your imam must or any Black and Latino religious leaders that are not protecting the brothers and sisters at the gutters and barrios when it's conflict and turf wars. And same as your celebrities and entertainers and Black and Latino athletes. And even a lot of them that's in these podcasts. So we not trying to knock nobody at a personal level though, but a lot of them at the podcasts is like the Breakfast Club, for example. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got nothing personal though, but we just try to, but they speak like they're leaders of our people though, and they never was. They never was. Any Black Latino entertainer, whether it's a podcast or if it's an athlete or if it's a celebrity though, they're not built like that. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. Only the men in the ISUBK are built for that. Because first and foremost, you got to be trained for this though. You got to be under command and how you got to be trained for this. That's why we got something called Hebrew Academy. You see this right here? You don't get this for nothing. You got to earn this. You got to earn this.
Please begin to wrap up your work and gather your
belongings.
Thank you.
That's why the gates we're in mourning and the gates are weak though, because the wrong people that's supposed to be in charge of us is not doing their job. Your Christian pastors, your imam up, your religious leaders, your political Black and Latino leaders are not doing their job to protect the neighborhoods and projects. And your entertainers, whether they football, basketball, boxers, we don't give a damn what they is. That doesn't matter. The fact is, you're not out there being a proper leader for your own Black and brown people. You know what I'm saying? Stopping the violence of crime, the gang banging, the drug dealing, the prostitution, the whoremongering, the sexual deviancy. You know, a lot of sexual deviancy being them Christian churches and a lot of these other Black communities though, because they don't have the proper leadership though. Only the men in the ISUBK can stop that and help prevent that from happening. Facts. You know, language. They are Black into the ground. And when Jeremiah is referring that they are Black into the brown though, when you dig up the earth though, you find many different shades of brown, from the lightest, palest brown, like the color of sand in the beach though, you know, into the darkest, richest soil brown, which is damn near black though, but it's rich, dark brown. You know what I'm saying? Which means that the soil is at its purest to grow crops, you know. But the white man says that the darker you are, the more inferior you are, which don't make sense though. That's how stupid he is though. But ain't the darkest soil will be the most pure soil to grow crops of the earth. So what we talking about? That's how stupid the oppressors is. They don't know nothing though. But in this context, it's saying that blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians are different shades of brown pigmentation, like the earth is, different shades of brown. So in this context, Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 1 and 2, Jeremiah is referring to his people, Judah, specifically in this context, though. That's in the gutters and ghettos and projects. You know, and why is that important, though? Because in this context, your Christian pastors and your political leaders and your celebrities and entertainers and athletes live like strangers and Gentiles, a heathen state of mind. They don't have the truth in them. That's why in this context, it's heavy when we bring about Gentiles and heathens and strangers can also be referred to Israelites because they're not following the ways of the Most High. They're not doing anything that the Lord says out this Bible. That's it on that though. We gotta end the class. There will be a part 2 of Israelites can strangers and Gentiles can be Israelites. It's gonna be a part 2 to this class too. So we're gonna wrap it up for today. Let me go do the Lord's prayers. Imagine which means to stand. Do the Salaki, not the Lord's prayers, the security announcements. The ISUPK security announcements. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to learn and share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, they are to seek counsel from the heads. Tithes, which is commandment. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Means 10th of the Hebrew, ma'ashara. 10th of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the general, teacher, priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. We have the today, later on, which will be the closing of the Feast of Purim, which is March 3rd, right? Today, right? The closing of the Feast of Purim, which starts today, 7 o'clock a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern time zone. And what we have next is the Lord's 57th annual Passover down in Houston, Texas. Starts April 1st, ends on April 6th. April 4th will be the Lord's 57th annual Passover. Any Black, Latino, Native American Indian should be down there. You should be down there. It is a commandment of the Most High. Communicate with your camp leader or communicate with any school closest to your city or zone. You know, make sure you got your hotels, Airbnbs, and transportation arrangements prepared. Remind Akim Akwathim to check bulletin board in the hallway, and if anyone wants to be a trooper at the school, to start wearing all black boots, black shirt, black headband, black scarf. With that being said, let's give a courteous salute to the instructor, which is myself, men of Israel, Amajim, which means to stand, Amajim, Amad Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahaba Ashib Yahshab Barakatah, Yazmatah, Sar, which means tar. Give a courtesy salute to the Akwati, brother sisters. Akwati sisters, Abajim, Abad Shabbat, Abajim, Barak, Yahweh Shamar, Alatah, Ba Shibi Al Shah. Yazmatah, class dismissed. Thank you. I was just closing out. You caught me right on time.